Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you. Today I want to get into a pair of New Balances which have been on my radar for quite some time. The Protection Pack 2002 Rs were one of my favorite pickups of last year. I grabbed a bunch of different colors of them. I've really become a huge fan of the 2002 R in general, but they just released 4 Protection Pack colorways of the 1906 R, which now they're calling the 1906D for these pairs. I have the Castlerock color in hand and I can't wait to get into them. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Castlerock Protection Pack 1906Ds. So when the Protection Pack 2002 R first dropped, I think one of the first ones was the Rain Cloud colorway. That was actually my favorite colorway of that shoe, and I never got it. I never paid resale prices for it. And then last year I picked up a bunch of new colorways that they came out with. My favorite ended up being the Mirage Gray. It's kind of like a greenish gray and blue, but I always wanted that Rain Cloud colorway, which was mostly just a bunch of grays and off-whites together. Whenever I saw the Castlerock pair of the 1906D Protection Pack, I knew that I really wanted that shoe. Well, I had been watching for it and I saw that it dropped overseas. I didn't realize that the drop date in the US was coming so close. I ended up seeing them available on an online retailer from Germany. It was called Stoy. There's how you spell it, S-T-O-Y. But I had never purchased anything from them before, and I ended up doing the math. It ended up costing me right around $190 altogether. So I ended up ordering them from Stoy early. The biggest size that they had was a 9.5. And because New Balances are typically pretty roomy, I decided that just in case I couldn't get my size when they dropped here, I would go ahead and pull the trigger and get the 9.5. I do have these coming from the New Balance website in my regular size of size 10, so I'm very pumped about that. The tag reads M1906DA. I think retail price in the US is $160 or $165, right around that. But enough of that box talk. Look at these beautiful, beautiful kicks. I always say I'm a huge fan of different texture, and I'm really feeling all this hairy suede on here. I love the colors, just the varying shades of gray. There's like a light gray suede and a darker suede, and the light suede isn't really hairy. It has a short hair, but this dark suede, like we see on the toe box, it is just crazy hairy. Hopefully you can get a good angle of that, but it's a nice thick cut and it feels really soft. It feels like a great material. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. And I think these things will age really well because they kind of have that tattered look already. But I'm really loving these colors, and I'm very pumped that I have a size 10 coming. If I didn't have that size 10 coming, I probably would have just kept these and just made it work. Sometimes I do rock shoes that are a little too snug if I like the design of them enough. I do have one pair of 1906 Rs, and the size 10 fits me perfect in that. And I would assume these are just the same, just like 2002 Rs fit true to size for me, and I go with a size 10. My first pair of 1906 Rs were perfect in a size 10 as well. So that's what I'll be keeping. And I actually have this colorway, and I couldn't help myself. I grabbed the black colorway as well. So I'll have 2 pairs coming in my size from the New Balance site. Obviously, whenever you first see these shoes, I think the first thing that jumps out at you is that it's got all these jagged edges for all these suede overlays, and that is definitely identifiable as the Protection Pack. My cousin called these the Shark Bite New Balances or something like that, or the Shark Attacks, and I think that's pretty accurate just because it's got this kind of distressed look, and there you can see on the toe box it's just kind of tattered and there's no straight edges on it. It's all just kind of jagged and looks like it was like ripped apart, but I really love that aesthetic. I think it looks really, really cool, especially on like a retro runner shape. And then with these colors, I think these things are a masterpiece. One of the major differences between these 1906s and the 2002s are that the 1906s have this N lock. And basically for this N, you have two straps that also go through there and make the lines of the N, but then they attach to the lacing system. And that's supposed to just help secure your foot down whenever you pull your laces tight. It's supposed to help it lock down closer to your foot. That's something that the 1906s have that the 2002Rs don't have. Another major difference is just that these 1906s have this nice heel anchor or heel clip on the back. I like how this is flat. It's a dark gray color, but it's not shiny and glossy. It's just like a flat matte finish. And I think that looks pretty dope on there. This outsole is almost identical to what we have for the 2002Rs, and it's what we commonly get on the 1906, but it just feels like it's really hard rubber. It's in a black color, and it's got little speckles all through it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's very, very grippy, and I love the traction that you get on these and the 2002Rs. All that tread is in a black color. In the middle of the outsole, you can see that it's got some stability web branding, and that's just like a hard plastic in a cream color. And then underneath the heel, in between this tread, you can see that it's got some New Balance branding. But then as we come up to the back of the shoe, you can see it's got those areas that kind of remind me of like the old school Nike Shocks, but I like the look of this a little bit better. It's not quite as loud and in your face. And we've got some Energy branding here in red. And again, I just love all these lines on the midsole. It's a pretty dense foam, and you see a gray color, but the majority of it is this nice cream or sail type color. But I just love these lines, and I think it's a really neat looking midsole. The black traction wraps up to the front, and you can see a little N for New Balance. As we get to the upper, this is definitely my favorite part of the shoe. It actually has a lot of life on it. You can see it change colors with direction. I don't know if that comes through on camera or not, but I was kind of surprised that suede this hairy you can get that much life out of. But it feels really great. It's really, really thick cuts. Hopefully that's coming through on camera. I just love the way that it looks and the way it overlaps, and you see all these jagged edges coming together. I think these things are so, so cool. Along with that really nice hairy suede and then the shorter haired light gray suede, we do have some hits of synthetic leather, and it seems like everywhere we have the synthetic leather, there's also branding on it. Like at the base of the laces, we have some synthetic leather here and an N, and then on the tongue there's another synthetic leather hit where we have some New Balance running branding. And then the last area is on the outside of the shoe. It says 1906D, and that's in gray synthetic leather. So there are just a couple of areas that have synthetic leather, but overall the shoes have a really premium feel and a really premium look. So I don't mind having those little hits where the branding is of synthetic materials. All these really nice suede overlays are on top of a gray mesh, and it seems really breathable and it feels nice to the touch. It's a nice shade of gray. It's kind of the same gray that you have for this really hairy suede, but it looks really good, and you can see it peeking through all these overlays the whole way back the shoe. On the back of that heel counter, you can see there is some New Balance branding. I believe these little pieces of canvas that go through the N are reflective, and then where they come up for the lace loops, that's also reflective. The tongue looks like it's made of that same mesh that we have for the base of the whole upper. It's just in a nice gray color. And then our laces are cream or like a sail color, and they pretty much perfectly match the midsole color. the off-white that we have on the midsole. And another small touch that I like how the sock liner and the back of the tongue is just a little bit lighter of a gray than what we have for the mesh on the base of the upper. I think that kind of goes along with the rest of the theme, where we have this lighter gray suede underneath this really hairy suede. But I like that they continue that kind of style even on the inside of the shoe. The insole has some New Balance 1906D branding. It looks like it's made to look like it's mesh, just like the base of the upper on the shoe, but it's an Ortholite insole. It feels like it gives you really nice cushioning. I haven't tried these on because I won't be keeping them since I have my own size coming, but I know I really like the cushioning in my other pair of 1906Rs. But that was a pretty quick look at these shoes. I love the look of them. I'm really glad that I was able to get my size in 2 colors coming from New Balance. So as soon as they get here, I'll at least do a review of the black pair, because I can't wait to see them, and I'll throw one of the pairs on feet and confirm the sizing info, and also just give you a feel of what they look like on foot. But let me know what you all think of these. Let me know if it's something you think you'd wear, or if you prefer the protection pack from the 2002R. I think these are dope looking overall, and I said it before on my 1906R review, I prefer the 2002R silhouette, and that remains the same, but I definitely think that this 1906D wears this protection pack pretty well. So let me know your thoughts on it. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will catch you on the next one. I'm out.